I've got a very esteemed guest on the show today in form of Casey Rossi. Welcome, Casey. How do we know when we've actually achieved peak performance, and how can we actually go about sort of getting there?
We know that we've arrived when we're feeling good, we're energized, there is an effortless flow and fluidity to what we're doing. And at the end of the day, we are satisfied. We're not beating ourselves up or thinking we could have done more. And when we have a string of those days, we are still in alignment versus feeling like a wet washcloth at the end of the day and burned out. A couple ways to get there is really tuning in and understanding our drivers and our deep why. So it doesn't feel like work. So it feels like we are as close to alignment as we can get. And of course, life happens. We're not running after perfection. We're really into embracing the process, and a process that works for us. I'm all about busting through the social norms and the shoulds and the obligations and any expert blueprints. And that's one of the keys, is really seeing what's working specifically for you and giving yourself permission to craft your own destiny and make it something that's way deeper than a trendy hashtag or something cute on a coffee mug, something that you really embody.
One of my personal pet peeves is when you see all of these quotes going out on Instagram, and sometimes you look at the profiles and you think, do they really believe that what they're putting out there? There's a thing sort of in the small business world as well. So we work with a lot of coaches, consultants and freelancers where fake it till you make it is quite a big thing. And that you mentioned a really key word there. I should be and I shouldn't be. And what can we start to do to start to unpack and start to remove some of the words like that and start to believe in ourselves a little bit more?
Absolutely. I think tapping into the feeling state is crucial. So that fake it till you make it is, it can be very inauthentic, because again, what are you faking? Because feelings is really where the truth is, where the authenticity lies, and where you have the power to kind of cultivate a better feeling thought. So I think making that distinction is huge. And then also understanding that the thoughts are really the key to the cascade of our actions. And so what I mean by that, Robin, is thoughts are something that we can control. We control what's in between our ears. And so we could have the same exact situation, but how we are approaching it, our perspective, that tick off of the thought process is so very key, because the thought is then what governs the feeling. And it's the feeling state that then brings in the emotions, and the emotions then kick off our actions. So all of that to say is the thought is really what's bringing us the result. And the more that we are in tune with that, the quicker we can flip the switch when we're starting to have a thought that's not serving us, or a thought that's so repetitive that it feels like who we are, but it's really kind of this false autopilot. So I think that that's some key distinctions, really, is being aware of our thoughts, knowing that we have the power to turn them around, and then witnessing the actions that come from it. And the big thing, which I think we often forget to do, especially as high achieving performers, we forget to celebrate those wins. So witness the actions, witness that cascade, and leave space to celebrate it, because as you probably already know, we repeat what's rewarded. And as entrepreneurs, as solopreneurs, we have to kind of do that ourselves. We've got to be the one that recognizes it and then also pats ourselves on the back for it, so we're charged up to do it again the next day.
I'm a big fan actually of that. Rather than kind of spending too much time up here, let's just go out and gather some evidence about the real world out there and bring it back. I replaced fake it till you make it with make it until you make it. So if you see other leaders out there doing what you want to do, well, firstly, what is it that they did that got them there? So whether that's in their thoughts, behaviors, their actions, and the results which they got, and then how can you actually go out there and recreate some of that? So it gives you permission to kind of step outside of your thoughts and feelings a little bit and just go out and try some stuff out without really fear of failure, because you know that somebody's already been out there and done it already. So why should we?
I love that. Make it till you make it. Absolutely. And to your point of busting out of the head, I think that that's something that many of us fall into, is we're overthinking. We are falling into perfectionism, which leads to procrastination. And so the only way we can bust through that is to take action, even if it's imperfect action, like show up for yourself and show up for yourself again. So I'm a fan of your philosophy of make it till you make it.
I think as well, like in order for that to happen, you have to have quite a simple life. I can't really talk because you you saw all the stuff behind me on my shelves here, but you talk a lot about minimalism, which is kind of something which I believe in a little bit. I'm always trying to make things as simple as I possibly can, because if something is a little bit more simple, there should be fewer, again, things that could potentially go wrong, or fewer kind of parts of the formula to try and figure out. So how does minimalism help for all of this?
Absolutely. I think it helps tremendously. There's a lot of different reasons. You touched on a couple. One, we are eliminating potential threats and weaknesses in our chain. So when we have less links together, there are less opportunities for something to break, come undone, or have the whole thing unravel. But I think even more so, especially since COVID, since 2020, we are increasingly bombarded with digital distractions and really are at this increased enticement to escape or cope or try to control something. And I think that absolutely drains our productivity and our focus, and it really can keep us from our goals, even though it may temporarily give us a dopamine hit or give us a funny haha when we see the cat video on YouTube as a distraction. Digital minimalism is huge. I think that also helps to cultivate some stillness, so we have that creative energy bubble up. You talk a lot about this fearlessness, and I think that when we dig deep into our own self, we can be so creative, not looking at what someone else has done. Like, yes, we can get inspired that if they can do it, we can do it. But I think when we silence the noise, we will be shocked at what actually bubbles up from our own soul, from our own creative insight. And that part's super exciting. The other thing as an entrepreneur, there are so many gadgets and apps and tools and pieces and parts to run our business, and it can be so much more simple than what we do. And all of this takes a little discipline, but the sweet, sweet reward at the end is clearer thinking, more efficiency, less output of shiny object cache of like impulse buys, right? And just a lot more alignment.
Mrs. Waite's got that covered. I don't need to worry about that, Casey.
Yeah.
You mentioned something really important there, because it's not just about things, is it? So I always mistook minimalism to be about sort of the number of sort of objects that you do have around you, but it's also just, I incorporate something called a digital detox into my life. So once a quarter, I'll remove all of the notifications from things that I've signed up to, or I'll unsubscribe from any subscriptions which I've signed up to that are costing me money. And maybe I'm not using, like you mentioned, apps and things like that as well there. But also I'll go right the way through my business and look at products, my pricing. Are they still serving me? Are the clients still serving me? Am I still serving my clients like, 100%? And I do this once a quarter, because over 90 days, I found that things start to kind of creep into your life that you probably mostly invited, but some of them are uninvited that you don't really realize that you're kind of bringing in. So having that, not just the physical stuff that you're kind of minimalizing, is that a word? But also like the ethereal stuff, the digital stuff that's kind of creeping into your life as well, I think super important.
Absolutely. I love that process. I think it's a beautiful habit. We're constantly changing and shifting. Our cells are regenerating, making new connections and vibrations within us. So it only makes sense to look at our business with fresh eyes and not be afraid to kind of strip it down, relook at it and have a freshness about it. I think it's not only going to serve you and your long-term growth, but absolutely be 100% present for your clients. And that's what it's all about. I do think it also, Robin, does extend to the physical things, because it has to do with our mental clarity, the feng shui, the energy of our office, what we're looking at. Our environment plays a huge factor in our positivity, our optimism, our focus. So I love to kind of go through and do a whole audit, on some of the energetic things, some of the digital things, and some of the physical things as well, and just be very mindful of that process.